Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. We have talked about refugees, and we've talked about the challenge of dealing with the refugees. And so I thought it would be interesting to chat with someone who's actually left Ukraine as part of the invasion and has resettled right now in Berlin. So I want to introduce you tonight to Liudmyia Tiunikova. She is from Kiev, Ukraine, but she made her way to Berlin. And we just wanted to chat a little bit about, what your experience has been like. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, Brian. Thank you for inviting me. So what can I say? I'm from Ukraine, and I lived in Kiev, and I was in Kiev when the war started on 24th of February. To be honest, I was very optimistic, and I didn't believe that there will be a war because I thought that it's impossible in 21st century for something like that to happen. So I was in Kiev. I woke up at 6 in the morning. I saw missed calls and messages from my friends, and they told me that the war started and that I should evacuate. I remember that I was shocked and didn't know what to do. During first few minutes, I wasn't sure if I have to run or what should I do. So after that, I called my brother and my mom. I shared the news with them and said that I need a few minutes to understand what are our next steps. Then I checked the news and I stayed home because I read that there were explosions around the country. So I know that many people went to the western part of Ukraine, but I wasn't sure if I should go there because I wasn't sure if it's going to be safe there. So I stayed in Kiev during the first day, but there were rumors that Russia is going to attack at night. So I couldn't sleep this night, and it was the rumor was true because around 4 a.m. During that night, they started attacking Kiev, and I heard the explosions, I heard noise, I heard the air raid sirens. So I went to the parking lot because there was no real shelter near me. And usually when you hear an air raid siren, you have around 5 minutes to get to the shelter. So I went to the parking lot because it was used as a shelter, and many of my neighbors were also there, so we spent the rest of the night there. And in the morning I decided that it was too dangerous to stay in Kiev, so I took my mom and my brother, and we went to the western part of Ukraine. We went to Chernivtsi by car. It took us 2 days to get there. It was really difficult road, but we got there. It was safer, and we stayed there for 2 weeks. But even though it was much safer there were still air raid sirens, and you still see that there is a war in your country. So I didn't feel safe. And 2 weeks ago, I decided to take my mom with me and go abroad. Since I went by car, I couldn't really go very far. I also have a small dog. And I decided to go to Germany because I knew that there are already too many people in Poland. So I came to Berlin. I was very lucky because I found an apartment here for rent, and right now I'm here. But I really want to go back home. And I didn't apply for refugee. You mentioned the refugee in the beginning. I didn't right now. I'm staying here as a tourist because I have a biometric passport and I'm allowed to stay here up to 90 days. And to be honest, I don't want to admit the fact that I'm a refugee. and I still believe that I will go back home like during these 90 days.
What a story. Now, let's ask a couple of questions if we could. So you went from Kiev to Western Ukraine on that second day. Was there traffic jams? Were there a lot of people that were leaving Kiev at that time?
Yeah, many people left on the first day, but on the second day, like there was also like a lot of traffic jams, and also we didn't know like where to go because we didn't know which road is safe. So we had to like check the news, and like I heard that there are some explosions and tanks near Zhytomyr. It's like a city in Kiev, so I knew that I should not go in this direction. Like I should go to some other city. And yeah, it took us 2 days to get to Chernivtsi, to the western part.
And did you stay in a hotel, or where did you stay when you got there?
No, it was impossible to find a hotel, like because like when we went there, we actually didn't have any place booked in the western part of Ukraine. We didn't really know like where to go. Like first I wanted to go to Lviv, but while I was driving, my brother and my mom, they were checking, booking Airbnb, they were calling, but there was no place to stay, even for like one night. And also I have a dog. It makes like everything even more difficult. So while we were on the road, like we were going through a smaller city, and I remember that 5 years ago, I worked with a guy from this city. So I called him and I said that like it's middle of the night and I'm here with my family and we have no place to stay. And he called like his relatives, and they allowed us to stay for a night in their place. It was like on the first day, and then we went to Chernivtsi. And I knew that one of my friends, they already found an apartment there, and they said that there were already like 10 people there, but they allowed us to come and stay there for a night. So we slept on the floor, but it was better than nothing. But on the next day, we were lucky because we like found an apartment there.
And what about food? Were you able to get food? Was there restaurants that were open, grocery stores? How did you eat?
No, I mean, everything was closed. When the war started, only grocery stores and pharmacies, I guess, it's like only they were open. All businesses, they stopped working, so there are like no restaurants. We got some food on a gas station, and yeah, that's it.
And then when you went to Germany, how did you get there? Did you go through Slovakia, or how did you go there?
We went there through Poland. It took us around like 5 hours to cross the border. But as far as I know, people who went during like first few days, it was much difficult. They spent like 2 days maybe on the board. But since I went only after 2 weeks, it was a bit easier. I'm really thankful to Poland for allowing us to cross the border with my dog, because usually like when you travel, you need like an international passport. I didn't have international passport for my dog. She has like a chip and all the vaccinations, but didn't have like international documents, but they allowed us to enter their country, and very thankful for that. So we crossed the border with Poland, and after that I was driving for 3 more days to get to Berlin.
And again, where did you stay in Poland? Were you able to find accommodation?
Yeah, it was quite easy to find a hotel for one night. I know that it's very difficult right now to find anything like long term, but it is still possible to find a place for like one day.
And did you have to tell the Polish authorities that you were not staying in Poland? That that you were on your way to Germany, or did they care?
They asked me where I'm going. I said that I'm going to Germany. That's it. Like, they didn't ask any additional questions. They asked me if I need any help, if I need help, like any food or something like this. After I crossed the border, there were many volunteers who also offered help. But since I was able to book a hotel, I didn't ask them for any help.
And your brother didn't come with you. Is that because males of a certain age aren't allowed to leave Ukraine, or why?
Yeah. Right now, all men from 16 till 60, they're not allowed to leave country. So my brother stayed there.
And are you in contact with him? Where is he and how is he?
He is okay. He is also he stayed in the western part of Ukraine. I'm in contact with him. I call him every day to make sure that he's fine.
Is he going to be drafted, or is he going to fight, or what do you think is going to happen to him?
I don't know. I hope that he won't be forced to fight. Right now, they are draft only people who has experience. He doesn't have any experience, so I don't really believe that he will be useful there. But yeah, I hope that he won't be forced.
You told me you were a product manager. Are you able to continue working?
I'm trying. It was very weird experience because I joined new company 2 days before the war started.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, and then I just disappeared because I was constantly changing location. After I moved to Western Ukraine, I didn't have access to internet. But I'm really thankful to my company because there was no pressure. They understood the situation. Now when I'm in Berlin, I'm trying to work, but I will be honest, it's very difficult to focus. It's very difficult to stay productive because I still have many friends in Ukraine. I still keep checking the news. I still keep checking if they are good, if they're alive and healthy, if they need any help. So it is very difficult, but I'm trying, and I know that many of my friends who are safe now, even if they're still in Ukraine, they try to work because they want to be able to support their families. They want to also be able to support our economy because we know that right now it's difficult, but after the war will be over, we still have to support the economy of our country to rebuild everything that was destroyed.
You say you don't want to admit.
Work.
You say you don't want to admit that you're a refugee. Why?
Because I don't want to live in any other country. I want to go home. I want to go to Ukraine.
Where did you live in Kiev? Close to the downtown, or in one of the suburbs?
I lived in Pechersk area. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but yeah, it's not far from downtown. It's 30 minutes drive from downtown.
And did you leave most of your personal effects there?
No, I lived there during the last 10 years. I'm from a small city in central part of Ukraine. I moved to Kiev 10 years ago, but I call Kiev my home because I think this is the place where I really grew up, and this is the place where I was very happy. So this is my home.
Tell us what you think is going to happen.
I don't know. When everything started, I didn't know what to expect, and I was very optimistic. I don't know why, but during the first days, I thought that it's gonna be over in 1 week. Then I realized that I thought maybe we need 1 more week. And after 2 weeks, I realized that it's probably gonna take more time. This is why I decided to go abroad. Right now, I keep checking the news every day, and I don't know what to expect, because I know that like our politicians, they try to negotiate with Russia, and I heard that there is like some progress, but to be honest, I don't believe in those negotiations, because Russia, they never keep their words. So even if they say that yes, we will stop, I'm not sure that we can believe them. So I don't know what to expect, honestly. But I still believe that it will be like over in less than a month or two.
And do you think that Ukraine's going to be able to push Russia back, or do you think there's going to be a partition? What's your sort of your sense of what ends up happening to Ukraine? Does it get carved up? Does Donbass go to Russia? What happens?
I think we won't agree to leave Crimea and Donetsk and Lugansk to Russia, because this is how this war started 8 years ago. They took this territory, and until they keep this territory, I think they won't stop. They will just want more.
One of the reasons why Putin justifies his action is he says that Russian-speaking people in Ukraine were treated badly, that there was, prejudice against them, if not, frankly, genocide against them, and it was like a Nazi regime in Ukraine in the way they were dealing with Russian-speaking people, particularly in eastern Ukraine. What do you say to that?
I say that it's not true, because I was born in central part of Ukraine, and I spoke Russian all my life. I went to Russian school. When I went to the university, also like majority of lessons were in Russian, but I still know Ukrainian, and I still spoke Ukrainian to other people who spoke Ukrainian. And I never thought that like language is a problem. I actually thought that it was really cool that all Ukrainians knew both languages, like Russian and Ukrainian. But to be like right now, actually, there is a different movement. Majority of my friends, including me, who were like Russian speaking, we stopped speaking Russian and we switched to Ukrainian language completely, just because we don't want to have like anything in common with Russia or Russian culture or anything. So like, this is not true.
Putin thought that that he'd be greeted as a liberator by the Russian-speaking people. And I guess to a certain extent in some very eastern parts, there were some Russian-speaking people that welcomed Putin 8 years ago as a liberator. Why did not more people welcome him as a liberator?
I don't know, because he started the war in our country 8 years ago, and like everyone I knew, we hate Putin. So I don't know why he expected that.
He argued that Russia and Ukraine are really one country, that Ukraine really isn't a separate country. What do you say to that?
This is also not true. Like, Ukraine is an independent country. We have a long history. We have our own language. We have our own culture, and like, we are independent. I know that Putin, he never wanted to admit it. And I think this is like the main reason why he's killing Ukrainian people right now, just because he doesn't want to see like independent, happy country near Russia, because we have democracy, we have freedom of speech. This is something that people in Russia doesn't have.
Putin doesn't want to have an independent, happy country, democratic, with freedom of speech near Russia. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Check back in with us and let us know how things progress. It's been fascinating chatting with you and hearing your story. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you for inviting me, and thank you for talking about Ukraine, because I think it's really important, because today is the 35th day of war. And I know that people abroad are probably already tired to hear about Ukraine, to hear about the war. But we do need support from other countries, because Ukraine is a big European country, but we are a very small country comparing to Russia. And that's why we need your support. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Liudmyia Tiunikova, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.